Hello, it is 501, week number 5. I am battling a cold. Can you tell? Let's try that again. It's going to be some scratchy voice, so sorry about that in advance. But you are far away and are not going to get my cold. Well, at least not directly. Um, we're talking about pedagogy this week, direct instruction, the actual teaching part of teaching. Um, I saw a friend shared a thing that was like me paying attention during instructions during flight, like here's how to do the safety and whatever, and inflating the whatever. You can tell I both don't travel a lot and don't pay attention a lot. um, Me paying attention a lot because I know what it's like to teach someone important information and have nobody pay attention. That's what we should explain when people say I want to be a teacher. It's like this: doing the emergency stuff as a flight attendant. For me, that's closer to what it is. You're like, hello, this is important. Um, anyway, I thought that was funny. But we're going to talk about the teaching part of teaching this week, looking actually at direct instruction. So, this week, you are, where should we start? Let's just jump right in with our assignment number 5, right? You're going to make an instructional screencast, which makes a video. You're going to record a video. You're going to teach a thing. This is what we do as teachers. You're just going to legit teach a lesson. There's a handful of parameters, so be sure to look carefully at the rubric. In the past, a few assignments, a few of you have kind of skimmed it and missed a couple important points that are relatively simple, but worth a lot of points. So please, please, please look at that rubric. Make sure you're checking all those boxes to get full points or very close to full points for those. Because overall the work you're doing is so amazing. Just make sure that you're checking the boxes and doing the tasks so that when I grade it on your rubric, it's reflecting all the work that you did put in. So if we just go through the rubric together, that first row is Google Slides. Did you do that? The rubric shows the principles of multimedia. You're like, what does that mean? If you click on the Google Doc that walks you through what the assignment is, has the rubric, but also has those 7 steps. It walks you through what those principles of multimedia are. There's lots of resources for you on both, like what principles of multimedia are. I'm going to just keep saying that phrase. Looking at cognitive load, and when you do and don't read your slides, in general, you want to not read your slides. Your slides tend to have visuals. You tend to say words. Together, you are good. But those 7 steps walk you through both how to do the actual step-by-step parts, like using Screencastify as a Chrome extension, integrating it with Google Slides, the order to do, how to connect it with TPAC in your work previously, how to connect it with your summative assessment. It walks you through all that and gives you kind of the bigger picture of how we create engaging learning experiences for our students. So if we go back to the rubric, that first part's around Google Slides. You're having at least 3 slides. Simple animation in general, just not animation. A way I like to kind of think about slides in general, unless I'm doing like a really involved animated something, is I should be able to save it as a PDF for backup for emergencies, and if I'm presenting live, I can go to that PDF and it's going to be pretty much the same presentation. So I would encourage you to err on the side of not animation. You're going to make a screencast less than 5 minutes long using some of those screencasting tools like the pen. That's a popular one. And then obviously you're going to have a blog post. Not obviously, you're going to have a blog post and connect it, explaining how you use Google Slides plus Screencastify, how it connects with TPAC, and that is the assignment. Be sure and go through all those resources on the Google Doc. Also, I want to take just a little step back, take a sip of water, and talk about like when you might make this, right? So you're building all of these skills and creating amazing content, and these are all going to be different tools that you can reach into your toolbox, pull out the right tool at the right time. If you want people to learn a thing, sometimes direct instruction using Screencastify plus Google Slides is absolutely the right answer. Other times, it is not. I have begun using an app called Tango, tango.us. It's AI powered, as most things are these days, but it really is and does a phenomenal job of it. What it does as a Chrome extension is as you click on different parts of a page, it records those steps, grabs a screenshot of each step, and gives an explanation of what to do on that step. So if you're trying to walk someone through how to do a thing and there's a website for it, the pro version even has a desktop version. It doesn't, the AI is not quite as magical. But if you need to walk someone, here's how to do a thing, click here, go to this, do that. You're not going to make a video like this assignment. Hop over to Tango and you're going to create a workflow using Tango for, I think, all the tutorials I'm doing that are around procedures. I'm using Tango. And then if I'm doing a creative direct instruction thing, I'm just using QuickTime Player and a screen recording. I'm trying to make it really, really simple. So an example of what that would be, which would be like kind of a simple version of what you're going to do for this, would be walking some of our ninth graders through podcasting using GarageBand. So with that, what I thought was most important is they could see my screen, see how I move stuff around, how I click, where I drop my cursor, how I do the shortcuts, and I can move pretty quickly through that tutorial, simple screen recording. And if they've got it right away, great. If they need to pause and rewatch it 20 times, great. So for me, screen recording was my direct instruction this past fall for our ninth graders to create some creative multimedia content. For parents, students, and teachers, I use Tango for here's how to log into this, here's how to access this, here's how to format this, here's how to set up the gradebook in a very particular way, here's how teachers set up assignments in our new LMS, here's how parents and students view that, right? Those step-by-step directions are not videos, are not slides, are not screencasts. That's where I'm jumping to Tango, and it's going to create those step-by-step screenshots with explanations. So always think about the right tool for the right job at the right time. What you're doing this week is Google Slides plus Screencastify. Your Google Doc has all those directions. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the discussion board. My goodness, how many times have I talked about Sal Khan and John Spencer's interview with him, with Khanmigo? Like, it's been every week for the last 3 weeks. Sal Khan is giving a TED Talk, one of his older ones. He has one in the last year about using video to reinvent education. And I've been a proponent of this for a long time. I think the ability to have video as a resource for kids makes it more accessible for kids, and making things more accessible makes things more inclusive. And anytime we can do that, the better off we are, our kids are, our classrooms and our schools are. So this video is not talking about kind of the latest trend, but I think sits really nicely in our themes for week 5. So looking forward to seeing what you share looking at week 5. And if you kind of hit the point, a couple of you have reached out and you're like, I showed up a little late to the discussion board. Everyone's already said everything I would say. All the responses are already kind of there. Like, right, this is discussion boards. If you want to go in a slightly different direction, kind of refer to the prompts, answer those, and also talk about how we might use something like Khanmigo or ChatGPT or a variety of other generative AI tools in, what's the right verb? Not in association with, like complementing with the tools we're talking about in this week. So that is that, and then the last reminder, Units 9 and 10 of the Google Certified Educator Level 1 fit this week's theme perfectly, looking at interactive lessons, particularly around Google Slides, looking at teaching students online, walks you through that. The other stuff you'll get in Unit 10 a little bit is looking at Earth, and so if you've not jumped in to what that means and what that is, you are in for a treat. It refers to Google Earth, spoiler, but it's it's pretty extraordinary. It's now a web application. It used to be a standalone app, and what the options are in Google Earth apply to so many different grade levels, so many different content areas. Um, that's one of those where, as we look at interactive lessons, like Earth is particularly interesting. We did a little bit. Was it back in week 1 when we were on Google Maps? So it's a similar kind of learning, slightly different direction. So make sure you're still going through those units inside of the Google for Education Fundamentals training. And I think that is all for this week. If you have any questions, be sure and reach out. Otherwise, happy week 5, everybody.